A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I, Aditi Verma, welcome you all in the valedictory session of the world's first 10-day digital live international media conference, ICAN 3, on the theme of issues, community, and agenda. A congregation of media professionals, academicians, researchers, and students. ICAN 3 is hosted by DME Media School, a premier educational institute affiliated to Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University and approved by Bar Council of India, in collaboration with Deakin University, Melbourne, Australia. Our knowledge partners for ICAN 3 are Adamas University, Calcutta, KR Mangalam University, Gurugram, and Public Relations Society of India, Delhi chapter. Our media partner is Policy Time. We are fortunate to have with us our guest of eminence, Dr. Nakul Parashar, Director Vigyan Prasar, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, and special guest Professor Ujjwal K. Chowdhury, Professor Kiran Bala, Dr. Vikrant Kishore, Mr. Mohan Shukla, Mr. Akram Haq, Dr. Joya Chakraborty, and Dr. Asad Nizam. We are grateful to have with us our internal dignitaries, Mr. Vipin Sahni, Ms. Kiran Sahni, Mr. Aman Sahni, Honorable Justice Bhavar Singh, Professor Dr. Ravi Swami, Dr. Abreesh Saxena, and Dr. Sushmita Bala. We are privileged to have our guest of eminence, Dr. Nakul Parashar, with a doctorate in applied physics and masters in computer science and physics. Dr. Nakul Parashar has successfully set up 3 startups and taken them to plausible profitability. He has worked in academia, information science, KPO, legal information sectors, and has run diverse domain service setups with lowest possible cost infrastructure to produce highly plausible EBITDA. Mr. Parashar has been a university-level researcher and teacher, business development leader, operations risk manager, and SME for content management for various domains like legal, STM, and general content, and now is serving as the director of Vigyan Prasar under the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. We are delighted to have with us our next guest, Professor Dr. Ujjwal K. Chowdhury. He is the Pro Vice Chancellor, Branding, International Relations, Corporate Social Responsibility. He is also the Dean, School of Media, Communication and Fashion, Adamas University, Kolkata. Professor Chowdhury comes with years of academic and professional experience and has worked with various prestigious organizations in different capacities. He has been associated with various educational institutes like School of Media, Pearl Academy, Delhi and Mumbai, Ramoji Client Group, Amsterdam International Media School, Amity University, Mumbai. Besides, he also played a key role in building positive PR for government initiatives as media advisors for Textiles Ministry, Government of India. He has also contributed as media advisor for Nippon Foundation, Goodwill Ambassador, WHO, Delhi and Geneva. Professor Chaudhary is also known for his natural charisma as a leader. He has in the past addressed a session of United Nations Human Rights Commission, Geneva, on issues connected to human rights violations of those affected by leprosy even after their cure. Along with that, he has also addressed a session in WHO on social stigma connected to communicable disease. He has received various awards and recognition all through his life. Global Internship in Communication Education in 2015 by Sharjah and Kerala Chambers of Commerce in Dubai, Hall of Fame in Communication Education in 2011 by Public Relations Council of India, the Golden Triangle Award of Global Forum for Public Relations in 2012, to name a few. Moving on to our next guest, Professor Kiran Bala is the Dean, School of Journalism, Mass Communication, KR Mangalam University, Gurugram, a professional with diverse knowledge, a doctorate in mass communication, gold medalist in both PG in mass communication and PG diploma in translation, postgraduate in English, PG diploma in marketing management, NET qualified. She has many feathers in her cap, a qualified media personality. She is keen researcher and a dedicated teacher with more than 17 years of teaching experience at both college and university level. Along with academics, she has contributed 5 years in All India Radio and almost 2 years in Doordarshan as a casual compere. She has also worked as sub-editor in National Hindi Daily, Dainik Bhaskar. She has been awarded with Exceptional Woman of Excellence by Women Economic Forum in April 2019. She has published more than 15 research papers in various national and international journals and presented more than 15 papers in national and international conferences. She has also been guiding many research scholars at doctorate level. Our next guest is Dr. Vikrant Kishore. Dr. Kishore is an academician, filmmaker, photographer, author, and a journalist. He has more than 30 documentaries, web series, and corporate films to his credit. Currently working at Deakin University as a senior lecturer in screen and design. He is the course director for film, television, and animation. Dr. Kishore has been actively working for the safeguard and preservation of the cultural heritage of East India, especially Chow dance. He is an active member of International Dance Council and Association National Cultures and Tradition. He has been a jury member of various film festivals as well. His areas of research are Indian cinema, intangible cultural heritage, reality television programs, and the issues of caste politics in India. He has authored and edited books on Bollywood cinema and Indian culture. Our next guest is Mr. Mohan Shukla. Having profoundly practiced and progressed in top-notch Indian and multinational companies for more than 3 decades all along, occupying front bench position, Mr. Shukla has arguably mastered the art of handling them ability and acceleration. Mr. Shukla has served as member of FICCI, CCI committee and is also associated with other apex chambers of commerce and industry. He has served in FICCI's retail committee and FICCI's core group of experts on BIMSTEC. He has also reserved as a member CEI KPMG committee on ease of doing business in India. He has even presented a report to Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi. Mr. Shukla is a member of CII's Indo-Africa Committee and an active contributor in the public affairs of Federation of India. He is the senior consultant of Impact India Foundation set up by UNICEF, UNDP, WHO, and Impact UK. He is also the senior consultant for Multiple Solaris Society of India and an advisor for Society for Educational Crippled Child and Sampark. Mr. Mohan Shukla is chairman of the Public Relations Society of India, Delhi chapter, and a visiting faculty in IMS. Moving on to our next guest, Mr. Akram Haq is founder editor of the Policy Times. Before starting this venture, he was working as senior assistant director in multilateral and international policy and strategy division at FICCI, one of India's largest and oldest associations. Prior to FICCI, he worked with Confederation of Indian Industry. Mr. Haq has rich experience in working with the corporate world. His long association at higher level of India's top business forum has not only provided him opportunity to forge close ties with business committees, but also guided them to invest in overseas economic ventures. He was senior editor at Panman Media Group. He was also a faculty member of Department of Economics in prestigious Management Institute, teaching BBA and MBA students about fundamental of economics, business economics, macroeconomics, and welfare economics, etc. Moving on to our next guest, Dr. Joya Chakraborty, currently serving as the head department of mass communication and journalism, Tejpur University, Assam. Her areas of interest and specialization are ICT for development, cultural diversity and new media information and knowledge societies, sociology of communication, technology and media, gender, and ICT communication for social change, children and media, community media, and print media as well. We are honored to have with us Dr. Asad Nizam. Dr. Nizam is working as Deputy Director at the Electronic Media Production Center, Indira Gandhi National Open University. He is MA in Mass Communication Research Center, Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. He has done his PhD from University of Southampton, United Kingdom in 1997 as a Commonwealth Scholar, exploring the scope of information superhighway and networking in open and distance education in the Indian context. He has served as a professor, head of the Department, Mass Communication and Journalism at the Maulana Azad National Urdu University, Hyderabad, for 2 years, November 2004 to October 2006, and as a professor, communication at the Doon University, Dehradun, Uttarakhand, for similar duration, May 2007 till March 2009. He began his brush with media while pursuing his BCom honors at Kirodimal College, University of Delhi, 1980, presenting then popular programs such as View of Munch, Aapke Liye, and morning show of the only national channel Doordarshan at that time. Prior to joining IGNOU in June 1988, he served as a video consultant at the Institute of Management Development (IMD), Oil and Natural Gas Commission (ONGC), Dehradun, and subsequently was associated with the production of television serials Akash Ganga, Badli Hui Ibarat, episodes of Chandrakanta produced by MS Prime Minister Channel, Mumbai. He has more than 30 years of experience at IGNOU and has produced more than 200 educational audio-video programs. We would like to acknowledge Mr. Vipin Sahni, Chairman, and Ms. Kiran Sahni, Chairperson, Delhi Metropolitan Education, for their constant support and for always showering their blessings on us. We welcome Mr. Aman Sahni, Vice Chairman, Delhi Metropolitan Education, Honorable Justice Bhavar Singh, Director General Professor Dr. Ravi Swami, Director. We would also like to welcome Professor Dr. Amrish Saxena, Dean DME Media School and Director DME Studios and Production, and Professor Dr. Sushmita Bala, Head of the Department DME Media School. We are fortunate to have such dynamic personalities as guests to grace our event. Welcome everyone.
Today, as the final day of conference draws upon us, DME Media School is truly delighted to extend a warm welcome to guests of eminence, special guests of the session, our esteemed dignitaries, academicians, research scholars, and all our dear students. The third edition of ICAN, Issues of Community Agenda and News, is being hosted by the most promising Media Institute of India, DME Media School, Delhi Metropolitan Education, affiliated to GGSIPU in association with Deakin University, Australia. ICAN 3 was originally scheduled to be held during the last week of March from 25th to 28th March 2020. However, the disruptions caused by COVID-19 led to the delay of the conference. But the pandemic led ICAN 3 to be the world's first 10-day digital live international conference with 29 sessions, which included 14 technical sessions, 3 panel discussions, 3 plenary sessions, 3 master classes, and 2 special sessions. The path of conducting the online conference was fraught with challenges. However, here we are after months of work and toil. It gives me immense pleasure to recount all that we have achieved during the conference. We have received 203 abstracts and 141 papers have been consequently published. We have conceptualized 6 books, 5 in English, 1 in Hindi, wherein 174 authors have contributed, which we have received from 55 universities. The release of our newsletter, souvenir, and proceedings today. The 14 technical sessions in the conference engaged with all aspects of media, from politics to entertainment to mainstream and marginalized communities. With total 109 paper presentation, it is a matter of pride for us to announce that scholars from all over the globe presented papers in the conference. The massive turnout and attendance of all technical sessions encouraged our conviction that we have helped students and fellow academicians enhance research acumen and contribute to the academia. We came across dynamic and thought-provoking deliberations in our plenary sessions, where we unraveled how digital is fast emerging as an alternative to conventional media, the changing aspects of media and entertainment industry during the COVID-19, and the importance of grassroots journalism in highlighting the concerns of the marginalized communities. The panel discussions were equally enriching and complemented our theme of ICAN this year. We engaged the themes like migration and culture, nostalgia, being compelling storytelling and about OTT platforms leading a shift in the entertainment consumption and the significance of community media in a democratic setup like India. The masterclass in the conference also presented an opportunity to obtain a deeper understanding of Google search engine and more effective means of using it in addition to spotting, verifying, and reporting fake news and the importance of good policy making for effective implementation. The conference also hosted two special sessions where we discussed about media's lack of objectivity during war reporting and the importance of effective communication during disasters. ICAN 3, this congregation of students, academicians, and media experts witnessed, raised, and engaged with new ideas, perspective, discourses, and domains. The 10-day international conference has given us a lot of food for thought for the future classrooms, media spaces, and the world around us. DME Media School has re-instilled that no adversity is big enough if your resolve to learn is small. I would now request Dr. Susmita Bala, convener ICAN, and Dr. Amrit Saxena, organizing secretary ICAN, to please present a comprehensive report of ICAN 3. Over to you, Bala.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. In the presence of all esteemed guests, I am presenting the report card of ICAN 3, the International Conference on Issues of Community, Agenda and News. ICAN is being organized by DME Media School, the most promising media institute of India. DME Media School takes the credit of hosting the world's first 10-day digital live international conference. We owe to all stakeholders and partners with whose help and support we are claiming this credit. DME Media School is different in so many respects. Here I will mention only a few. We organize every month a special lecture named after the name of eminent journalist V.G. Varghese. Senior journalists and authors like Paranjay Guha Chakraborty, N.K. Singh, Prashant Tandon, Prabhat Shunglu, Harveer Singh, Shubhamay Bhattacharjee, Rajesh Badal, Deepak Chaurasia, Sumit Avasthi, Athar Saeed. This list is very long. DME Media School is the only institute in India, perhaps only in the world, which has a daily news bulletin of 8 minutes. This is product in-house, scripted and anchored by Dr. Ambarish Saxena. This bulletin, titled as UNO, Unfolding News Outlook, is available on our YouTube-based channel, DME TV. I must tell you here that we have state-of-the-art production facilities in Delhi Metropolitan Education. Our studio, Studio 62, is splendid and mesmerizing. I also want to tell you about SIFI, Sinister International Film Festival of India. The first edition of this festival was organized in April 2019. This 4-day festival comprised 81 screenings, 4 curate sessions, 3 workshops, and 2 master classes. Filmmakers and film experts from 12 countries participated in this festival. Many government and non-governmental organizations joined hands in this venture. The list included Vigyan Prasar, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, Delhi International Film Festival, We Care Film Festival, and many other film bodies. I must tell you this that no educational institution in the country organizes a film festival of this magnitude. Coming to ICAN 1, to fulfill our academic obligation, we thought of organizing a conference in 2017. So, in March 2018, the first edition of ICAN, India and Changing Aspects of News, happened. It was inaugurated by Chowdhury, celebrated journalist and former New Delhi bureau chief for BBC. Since he was not able to make it physically to the conference because of his ill health, we got his message recorded in his home and played it in the conference. Thus, ICAN had the taste of digital in first edition only. The highlights of the conference were 174 abstracts, out of which 124 were approved in peer review, 124 papers, 99 in English and 25 in Hindi. Presentation of 74 papers in 12 technical session, paper from 4 continents, Asia, Europe, America and Australia, and that time partners UNESCO, IIMC, Commonwealth Education Media Center for Asia, SEMCA, India Today Education, and 4 books with 118 papers, 94 in English and 24 in Hindi were published. And ICAN 2, the second edition of ICAN, Indian Cinema and Alternate Networks, was organized by DME Media School jointly with the School of Communication and Creative Arts, Deakin University, Melbourne, Australia. In November 2018, the highlights of the conference were 127 abstracts, out of which 105 were approved in peer review. 89 papers published English and in Hindi. Presentation of 58 papers in 8 technical sessions. Participation at that time from 15 states and more than 30 universities and colleges. Partners, Commonwealth Education Media Center for Asia, SEMCA, IIMC, and book published 5 books in with 105 papers. Now coming to ICAN 3. Yes, the third edition of ICAN, Issues of Community, Agenda and News, is being organized by DME Media School in partnership with the School of Communications and Creative Arts, Deakin University, Melbourne, Australia. The highlights of ICAN 3 are total 29 sessions in 10 days, 3 panels, 3 plenary, 3 master classes, and 2 special sessions. 50 eminent persons from academician and industry. 203 abstracts, out of which 158 were approved in peer review. 158 presentation involving 201 researchers. Presentation scheduled in 14 technical sessions. More than 109 presentations made. Participation from 55 universities and 18 colleges at this time. Participation from 4 continents as Asia, Europe, America, and Australia. 6 books published, 1 in Hindi and 5 in English. 141 papers published, 174 authors in books. International partners, Deakin University, Melbourne, Australia, with 3 knowledge partners, Adamas University, Kolkata, Mangalam University, Gurugram, Public Relations Society of India, PRSI, Delhi chapter, media partner, the Policy Times. Over to Dr. Saxena.
Thank you, Dr. Susmita Bala, for giving a vivid description of what we have been doing in DME Media School and also giving the details about the three editions of ICAN. So, to provide some more details about ICAN 3, firstly, I would like to tell you about the participation of media academics and the scholars. And given the number, these 14 technical sessions which were there, in every session there were chairpersons and co-chairpersons, and these we requested the senior people from all across the country to join in this session as chair and the co-chair. And I'm glad to tell you this, that we had the senior people from the Calcutta University, from Guwahati University, from Guru Jambeshwar University, Hisar, from Indian Institute of Mass Communication, from IGNU, from Punjab Technical University, and APJ Institute of Mass Communication, the details of which will be provided by my colleagues later. Now, talking about the other sessions like plenary, master classes, and the panel discussions, and all those special sessions, there also we had more than 10 persons who were senior people from the academics. These were include Professor Jayashree Jethwani, Professor K.G. Suresh, Professor Ujjwal Chowdhury, Professor Kiran Bala, Professor Ravi Kedhar, Professor Umesh Arya, Dr. Vikrant Kishore, Dr. Gauri Chakraborty, and Dr. Anandjit Goswami. And talking about the senior media professionals, more than 10 media professionals, senior people, joined in these special sessions. These included Betty Dam, who joined from Belgium, and then Dr. Martin Potter, who joined from Melbourne, and then Mr. Nilesh Kapoor, Mr. Naresh Sharma, Mr. Pankaj Rakesh, Mr. Vishesh Azad, Mr. Ratnadeep Banerjee, Rao Narendra Yadav, and Mr. Akram Haq. Now, proceeding further, if we look into the participation, when I say participation, this means the people who are there listening to us and who are also participating in terms of asking questions through the chat box and all. So here I can tell you that among the participants, there were very senior people who remained there for 10 days. I cannot name everybody, but those few people who were very regular and who made the sessions lively, I would like to name them. These included Professor Manaswini Yogi. These included Professor L.B. Oja from Mahanlal University, Bhopal, and Professor Yogi is OSD in Delhi School of Journalism in Delhi University. And this also includes Dr. Asad Nizam, who is in ANPC IGNU, and a very senior academic person and researcher who was there throughout all the 10 days. And today we have invited him as well. So today he will not remain a spectator or participant, but he will also be as our guest in these sessions. Besides this, if I can name, there are so many students obviously in every session, but I would like to name two of my former students. One is Akriti Taneja, who was for a short while in DME Media School and who is now pursuing a PhD from IGNU. She was there throughout, and she was asking questions and made the sessions fruitful. Another of my former student was there, named as Oksana. She is from Georgia, and at the moment she is having her PhD from Jamia Millia Islamia. Now, moving further, I would like to tell you that we always try to maintain the quality of our programs, all kinds of programs that we have been doing here. And as you all know, that we have been doing it on Zoom application, and we try to maintain the quality at all levels, be it the technical handling, the production quality of the programs, and be it the dissemination of the programs. Though we had a lot of difficulties at different times, like there were power failures at the end of some of us, there were network issues, there were internet connectivity problems, but we tried to overcome all such problems. And if I can mention the problems which were faced by the presenters, like the people who joined from Kashmir. the chairperson in one session joined for Kashmir. Presenters were from Kashmir, but then they had only 2G facilities there. So that was a difficult time for us to handle because in 2G the video was not being supported. And then I must tell you one important incident wherein one presenter was not able to present in whichever way because of the poor connectivity issue. Then our panel producer Ritik Ghosh devised a mechanism wherein whatever presentation she was to make, she did it on her telephone that was connected to Ritik Ghosh's telephone, and then that was beamed on the screen of Zoom. So we devised all such things so that the problems could be overcome. Now, moving on about the live stream and live streaming and the social media, I must tell you that we have been having live streaming of all our programs on Facebook, and these programs are going on DME Facebook page. Then we have a separate ICAN page on Facebook, and then our media partner, the Policy Times, they are also disseminating every program on Facebook. That is also live streaming. Like this particular valedictory function is also going live on Facebook, and the Policy Times is also taking it live on Facebook. And as far as the social media is concerned, we have a presence of ICAN everywhere, not only on the Facebook but also on WhatsApp, but on Instagram, and we also have a separate page of ICAN on LinkedIn, wherein there are 400 plus senior people from the industry and the academic, and that's exclusively an ICAN LinkedIn account. So there also we are posting all our programs, the videos of the programs. Now moving further, let me tell you about the sessions and the videos which are there, which have been there on our DME TV. So during last 10 days, we had 29 sessions. And if I can tell you the total count of the program that we have done into these 10 days, that is for 60 hours. So this means on an average, we are having a program of for 6 days. This includes this session as well. And we have produced 28 videos in total, and the total duration of these videos is 53 hours. So not only this live streaming is done, as soon as the program is over, we what we do that within an hour we put the video on YouTube based channel that we have, that DME has on YouTube, and this is known as the DME TV. So if today you want to watch any of the programs that we held during last 10 days, you can go to DME TV and watch the program there. And besides this, there were a lot of this production of the promotional videos and also the AVs about the release of the book, release of the souvenir, release of the proceedings, and the credit of all for this massive production goes to Mr. Sumantra Sartidas. Now, moving on, if I can tell you the production, the print production, if I can say, and all this print production has obviously in the form of the digital production now, since we are having the whole conference on the digital mode. So in all, as has been told to you, we took out 6 books, and this was running into 2,000 pages. And then besides I and Dr. Susmita Bala, 7 other faculty members joined hands in editing these papers. To name these faculty members, Manmeet Kaur, Pramod Kumar Pandey, Krishna Pandey, Jinam Bora, Yashosika Yadav, Mohammad Kamil, Kritika Sati, Deepika Dhawan, and Mohit Kishore was. We all together did this whole editing of the books. And then also, as I was telling you, we took out a souvenir which is running into 40 pages, and we took out a proceedings. Proceedings means wherein we published all the abstract. This is running into 200 pages. And we have released this, the digital copies, and all the digital copies will be now available to all those who have been part of ICAN and who have made their paper presentations. Then in ICAN, it has been a total involvement of the teachers and the students. And I have named all the faculty members. I mean, more than that, I cannot elaborate because every faculty member was working for 15 to 20 hours a day and was doing the multitasking, not just one thing. Sukriti Arora was also sharing a lot of responsibilities, and Sanchita Chakraborty particularly looked after, besides doing other things, the cultural program, because we had the music and dance program in the inaugural function, and today also at the end of this session we will be having all the cultural programs, and all these performances are mostly by the students of DME Media School, some alumni of DME Media School, also the parents of some of the students, and two or three are the guest performances which the professionals have agreed to do on our request. And all this or most of these performances are either live or those performers have recorded their programs for sharing on this platform. Now, talking about the students' involvement, that's very important because in DME Media School we believe that students are the most important stakeholders. So not only that we got the students involved in these 10 days, all those who have been attending the sessions must be knowing that in almost every session, one or two students are involved as anchors. And then they are also doing behind the curtain things. They are writing the press releases in English and Hindi. They are also preparing reports for the newsletter. The complete newsletter team is working. And then they were also involved while we were preparing for the conference. And also, since it's a research-based conference, and normally it is believed that if there is any religion, any academic thing, then obviously it has to be for the senior people. But right from ICAN 1, we try to maintain this, that students should also be involved in writing abstract, writing papers, and presentation of papers. So this time we put more thrust on that area, and I requested all my faculty members to work on at least one student who can write a abstract and paper. And finally, I can tell you that in this conference, more than 10 students of DME Media School, they have presented their papers, and their papers have been published in the books that we have taken out. Now, talking about the review, we had 5 senior people as reviewers. We termed as at the experts peer review committee. So these 5 people included Professor Ujjwal Chowdhury, Professor Kiran Bala, Professor Aman, Dr. Vikrant Kishore, and Dr. Joya Chakraborty. And in the advisory committee, some of these senior people were there. And besides this, there were Professor Jayashri Jetwani, Professor Aditya Malik, and Mr. Mohan Shukla. And then talking about the partners, as has already been told, Deakin University, Melbourne is a constant support to us, and this is because of Dr. Vikrant Kishore, who is always ready to partner with us in any academic enterprise that we undertake. And then Professor Ujjwal Chowdhury has always been a big support, and his Adamas University. And then KR Mangalam University's support has also been there, and Professor Kiran Bala has been there for head. So finally, I would like to sum up with this, that all in all, ICAN 3 is the outcome of a team effort. And I give this credit to all those people who have joined us in this whole journey of more than 7 months. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your knowledge. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your knowledge with us. I now invite Ms. Sukriti Arora, Assistant Professor, DME Media School, to present a report on the pre-planning and preparations of ICAN 3.
Thank you, Aditi. I would like to start by saying that the dream of conducting this edition of third edition of ICAN began taking shape as far back as in November 2019. Dr. Amrish Saxena had envisioned a 4-day long event wherein several academic deliberations were to take place. And once the call for papers had been issued, each member of our team was assigned specific responsibilities. The internal reviewers, especially, actively coordinated with the authors and edited the materials to be published. The creative team was also working brilliantly and relentlessly to ensure fruitful social media engagement. And we were all set to hold this conference. Everything was prepared when you know who disrupted our plans. And yet, Dr. Saxena rekindled our spirits, and we decided to hold the conference through the digital media. With the efforts of our dedicated team of faculty members and student support and support from our partner institutes, the conference manifested into this mega event and is finally coming to its closure. Thank you. Over to you, Aditi.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Ms. Kritika Sati, Assistant Professor, DME Media School, to share with us the report on the inaugural session of ICAN 3.
Thank you, Aditi. The inaugural session of ICAN 3 International Conference on Issues of Community Agenda and News was held on the auspicious morning of June 21 in the gracious presence of top academicians and media professionals, Professor Ujjwal Chowdhury, Pro Vice Chancellor and Dean, School of Media, Communication and Fashion, Adamas University, Kolkata, Mr. Satish Namboodiripal, Additional Director General, Indian Institute of Mass Communication, Professor Aditya Malik, Vice Chancellor, KR Mangalam University, Gurugram, Dr. Ajit Pathak, National President of Public Relations Society of India and ex-board member, International Public Relations Association, Dr. Nitin Malik, Registrar, Ambedkar University, Delhi, Dr. Vikrant Kishore, Course Director, Film, Television and Animation, School of Communications and Creative Arts, Faculty of Arts and Education, Deakin University, Australia, and Mr. Akram Haq, Founder Editor, The Policy Times, New Delhi. All these luminaries shared their views on the practices and scope of media studies and the growth of digital media, and also emphasized on the need of a proper curriculum for the media education for journalism to become more impactful and meaningful. 6 books were released. They were unveiled during the session by the dignitaries, having 141 research papers, 128 in English and 13 in Hindi. The inaugural session was then followed by a cultural program. So that's the report of inaugural session. Thank you. Over to you, Aditi.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll now have a comprehensive report by our faculty members on various sections of ICAN 3. First up, we have Ms. Manmeet Kaur, Assistant Professor, DME Media School.
Thank you, Aditi. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Manmeet Kaur, Assistant Professor, DME Media School at Delhi Metropolitan Education. I will present the reports of the technical sessions 2, 6, and 8 of ICAN 3, Issues of Community Agenda and News. I must thank you all the paper presenters, participants, researchers, chair and co-chair for taking part in the world's first 10-day live digital international media conference on the issues of community agenda and news. The second technical session was around the theme of development issues, environment and role of media. It was chaired by Dr. Anand Pradhan, Course Director, Hindi Journalism, IIMC, New Delhi, and was co-chaired by Dr. Joya Srivastav, Assistant Professor, APJ Institute of Mass Communication, Dwarka, New Delhi. The session witnessed total 7 research papers presented by researchers from different universities. The topic like development distress and status of environmental journalism in India was presented. The researchers used different methodologies and research designs for their studies and elaborated on it using a PowerPoint presentation. Ms. Akriti Taneja from School of Journalism and New Media Studies, Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi was awarded as the best presenter of her paper titled as Climate Change Imagery in India, a content analysis study of national English dailies. Moving further, Technical session 6, it was twined around the theme Development and Community Empowerment through CR and ICT, chaired by Dr. Munawar Alam and co-chaired by Ms. Sanchita Chakraborty. Dr. Alam is the Professor and Dean of School of Journalism and Mass Communication, Satyam Group of Institutions, Noida. And Ms. Sanchita Chakraborty is the Assistant Professor at DME Media School, Delhi Metropolitan Education, Noida. Research works on the topics like agenda setting and localization, using alternative media against misinformation and community radio, strengthening the voice of voiceless. A case study of Chala Hu Gaon Mein was presented. Best paper presentation was awarded to Ms. Moina Khan from Times School of Media, Bennett University, Greater Noida, for her paper titled as Agenda Setting and Localization Using Alternative Media Against Misinformation. Moving on to technical session 8. The 8th technical session of ICAN 3 on June 25, 2020 saw research papers presented on agenda setting, issues of marginalized popular culture and youth. The session was chaired by Professor Dr. Manish Verma, Director, School of Media, Amity University, Gurugram, and co-chaired by Ms. Manmeet Kaur, myself, Assistant Professor at DME Media School. As many as 10 research papers were presented on the topics such as use of keywords for agenda setting and media's role in spread of propaganda. The keywords tool for agenda setting in information society by Mr. Rajat Sharma and Mr. Pawan Kondal, Indian Institute of Mass Communication, New Delhi, was awarded as the best paper of the session. It was indeed very informative and knowledge-oriented sessions at ICAN 3. Over to you, Aditi.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would now like to invite Mr. Pramod Pandey, Assistant Professor, DME Media School.
Unmute or Pramod, unmute.
Yeah, unmute. Good afternoon. I'll be giving you a comprehensive report of 4 technical sessions that includes technical session 3, technical session 5, technical session 10, and technical session 11. Well, technical session 3 was about role and effects of social media on the community. This technical session was conducted on the topic of social media, the community, and its various effects on society and other aspects of life, which focused on the role play of social media changing the perception and mindsets of the people. The session was chaired by Dr. Ruhi Lal, the PhD coordinator at Amity School of Communication, and it was co-chaired by Dr. Pooja Arora, who is the visiting faculty at DME Noida. There was a presentation of around 8 papers on topics that included impact of social media influencers on shaping purchase decisions of consumers and role of social media in diffusion of fashion trends on youth. And the chair and co-chair gave some suggestions regarding how the presenters can make their research more effective. Also, let's move on to the technical session 5. Technical session 5 was on web series, digital streaming, and new technology. And the focus was on ever-growing market of the OTT platforms and digital space. The 5th technical session witnessed several comprehensive researches on the topic like web series, digital streaming, and new technology. The session was chaired by Professor Dr. Manoj Dayal, who is a very eminent professor who belongs to Delhi Department of Communication, Media and Technology, Guru Jambeshwar University of Science and Technology, Hisar. And it was co-chaired by our own Mr. Ritvik Ghosh, Assistant Professor at DME College, Media College, DME Noida. In total, there were 6 papers that were presented on different themes. And in the session added several aspects to the hot topic, which is the influence of uncensored digital content, and opened up paths to more in-depth research for the same. Now, moving on to the technical session 10, the technical session was held on June 26, 2020, and it was about new media, digital ethnography, and network communication. This session was chaired by, again, a very prominent professor in the field of media academics, Dr. K.S. Arun, from School of Journalism and New Media Studies, Indira Gandhi National Open University, Delhi. And it was co-chaired by Dr. Manasvi Maheshwari, who is assistant professor at K.R. Mangalam University. In total, in this particular session, there were 7 papers that were presented on different themes. Some of the titles were like Shift in Public Sphere from Traditional to Digital Media, Consumption of News by Youth in Digital Age, Impact of Technology on Youth. And each paper presentation was followed by a round of question answer session. It was a very comprehensive session with a lot of suggestions coming from the professors. And like sir also said, there were so many people who had devoted, their precious time on all those 10 days, and they had been giving a lot of inputs to the researchers that really made the entire environment very academic. The next session that I'm going to tell you about is the technical session 11, with a focus on the developing techniques of communication in the global and political scenario. The 11th technical session of ICAN 3 was held on June 28, 2020, and it witnessed several comprehensive researches on the topic global issues, political communication, election, and public opinion. The session was chaired by Dr. Uma Shankar Pandey, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Journalism and Mass Communication. He is also the India Ambassador to IAMCR. And it was co-chaired by Dr. Nazrul Islam, Associate Professor, Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, Begum Ruqayya University, Rangpur, Bangladesh. In total, there were 4 papers that were presented in this particular session, and all the presentations were again followed by round of question and answers, wherein there was some brilliant inputs coming from the resource persons, the chair and the co-chair, and it really helped in taking and elevating the entire experience of the conference to the next level. So with this, I have summed up the report of these 4 technical sessions. Over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. I now invite Mr. Mohit Kishore Vats, Assistant Professor, DME Media School.
Thank you, Shri. A very good evening to one and all present here. I shall be presenting the report of technical sessions 1, 7, and 9. At the outset, I must thank all the paper presenters, participants, researchers, chair and co-chair for taking part in world's first live 10-day digital international conference, ICAN 3, on issues of community, agenda, and news. So the first technical session of ICAN 3 was held on Sunday, that is June 21, 2020, between 2 to 3:30 p.m. on the theme, Issues of Women, Emancipation and Gender Discourse. The session was chaired by Dr. Sabiha Mufti, Professor of Media Studies, Kashmir University, and co-chaired by Vikrant Singh, Assistant Professor, University School of Mass Communication, Guru Gobind Singh Intertrust University, Dwarka, Delhi. A total of 8 papers on different angles on the theme were presented in the session by the scholars and academicians. Each presentation was followed by a question and answer session, and many fruitful questions were raised by the fellow participants, the chair and the co-chair, which resulted in a deeper understanding of the topic. The Best Research Paper Award went to Ms. Neha Bhushan and Dr. Shashikant from Himachal Pradesh University, Shimla, on their paper titled Comparative Study on the Usage of Social Media Among Rural Women Population of 2 villages of Martinganj, Tehsil of Azamgarh district. Moving on to technical session 7, the 7th technical session of ICAN 3 was held on Thursday, that is June 25, 2020, between 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. With a focus on the growing need of a solid health infrastructure in India. The session witnessed several comprehensive researches on the topic Public Health, Healthcare and Happiness. The session was chaired by Dr. Ankuran Datta, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Communication and Journalism, Guwahati University, Assam, and was co-chaired by me. In all, 8 papers on different themes were presented in the session. The sessions shed light on different aspects on the inadequate provisions and availability of healthcare services in the country and put forward grassroots level problems onto the table. The Best Research Paper Award went to Dr. Zakia Tasmin Rahman and Ms. Rehana Jasmine Rahman from Amity School of Communication, Amity University, Noida, titled Exploring the Healthcare Industry and Health Tourism in Indian Perspective. Talking about the final technical session, that is technical session number 9. The 9th technical session was conducted Friday, that is June 26 in the afternoon, on the theme Sexuality, Misogyny and Crime Against Women. The session was chaired by Dr. Manaswini M. Yogi, Officer on Special Duty, OSD, Delhi School of Journalism, and co-chaired by Ms. Krishna Pandey, Assistant Professor, DME, Noida. The session witnessed 5 research papers covering different aspects of the theme. Some of the papers presented were LGBTQ in Hindi cinema, a paradigm shift in gay representation, and media exposure on sexual crimes against women and its impact, a study on families in Chennai. The session enlightened everyone about women's role, evolution in society, and threw light on the position of LGBTQ community. The best research paper award went to Ms. Suguna K. and Ms. M. Shanbagam from Sri Shankar Lal Sundarbai Shashum Jain College for Women, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. The topic of their research paper was Media Exposure on Sexual Crimes Against Women and Its Impact, a study on families in Chennai. That's it from my side. Thank you very much, and over to Shinjini.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Ms. Yashaswita Yadav, Assistant Professor, DME Media School.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Aditi. I will be telling about technical session 4. With emphasis on the role of emerging media platforms in unbiased information, the fourth technical session of ICAN 3 commenced with discussion on media, content, news analysis and ethical issues. It was held on 24 June 2010-20. We discussed about fake news, which is so prevalent today. The session was chaired by Dr. Anubhuti Yadav. She is the Post Director, Advertising and Public Relations, Indian Institute of Mass Communication, and co-chaired by me, Yashaswita Yadav. There were total 10 papers presented. The best paper was adjudged. It was Disinformation as a Tool of Statecraft and Destabilization by Ms. Krishna Pandey from Delhi Metropolitan Education. Various facets of media landscape were discussed in the session. Fake news, paid news, propaganda, and various things were discussed. It was quite an energy session. Over to you, Aditi.
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to invite Mr. Mohammed Kamil, Assistant Professor, DME Media School.
Thank you, Aditi. Good afternoon, everyone. I will present the reports of the last 3 technical sessions of ICAN 3, that is technical session 12, 13, and 14. In technical session 12, that was held on June 28, 2020, it witnessed various paper presentations revolving around discourse in media space and contemporary narratives. The session was chaired by Dr. Pallavi Majumdar. She is Joint Acting Head, MIT School of Communication, MIT University, Noida. And it was co-chaired by Mr. Pramod Kumar Pandey, Assistant Professor, DME Media School. A total of 6 papers were presented in this session on various topics such as understanding media innovation and freedom of expression among working journalists in Punjab. Best paper presentation was awarded to Dr. Akib Anwar Bhatt from Sharda University, Greater Noida. His title for the paper presentation was Media and Conflict, a comparative analysis of India and Pakistan TV. Moving on to the technical session number 13, it revolved around the topic Cinema for Community Bonding, Peace, Harmony and Justice. The chairperson of the session was Dr. Aman was from MIT School of Film and Drama, Noida, and the co-chair was Dr. Arif Nazir from Department of Mass Communication and Video Production, DAV College, Amritsar, Punjab. The session began by general introduction of the topics and proceeded with the presentation of research papers from different parts of the nation. Then in this session, a total of 9 papers were presented covering different aspects of the topic. Some of the papers included were a study on the impact of coronavirus pandemic on Indian cinema, and role of cinema as a tool of harmony and peace in India. The best research paper was awarded to Dr. Sunayan Bhattacharya ji from the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, School of Media, Communication and Fashion from Adamas University. The title of his research paper was Aparna Sen, Goynar Bakso 2013, a detailed case study of women emancipation through cinema. The last technical session, that is technical session number 14, it was conducted yesterday on a very pertinent topic, that is issues of national identity, citizenship, statelessness, and CAA, that is Citizen Amendment Act. The session was chaired by Dr. Rajiv Panda. He is an associate professor at APJ Institute of Mass Communication, AIMC, New Delhi. The session witnessed 7 paper presentations covering various aspects of national identity, citizenship, Citizen Amendment Act. Some of the topics were analysis of Citizen Amendment Act 2019, coverage in foreign media, foreign news websites. One of the topics were the role of national news channels in policy development and implementation. It was a study on the coverage of Citizen Amendment Act conflict. A first year student of DME Media School, Mr. Hardik Dogra, was awarded the best paper presenter for his work on studying growth of anti-CAA movement in Shaheen Bagh. On this day, I must thank all the paper presenters, participants, researchers, chairperson, and co-chairperson for taking part in ICAN 3. Thank you so much. Now over to you, Aditi.
Thank you so much, sir. I now invite Ms. Sukriti Arora, Assistant Professor, DME Media School, to share her report on plenary sessions.
Thank you, Aditi. There were in total 3 plenary sessions that were held. The first plenary session of the International Conference ICAN 3 was on the subject of grassroots journalism in the digital era with Professor K.G. Suresh, Dean, School of Modern Media, UPES Dehradun. This was held on June 22nd. Professor Suresh, the expert on the matter, he brilliantly shed light on the importance of participatory journalism in bridging the gaps between local news and media. He also highlighted the concerns of marginalized communities and explained how grassroots journalism can become the voice of the voiceless. Dr. Amrish Saxena, Organizing Secretary of ICAN 3 and Dean DME Media School, emphasized on the role of government in promoting grassroots journalism by utilizing tools of digital media. The second plenary session was on June 23rd. It was curated by Professor Ujjwal K. Chowdhury, Pro Vice Chancellor, Dean, School of Media, Communication and Fashion, Adamas University. He initiated an informative dialogue on COVID impact on media and entertainment. Sir also shed light on the changing aspects of media and entertainment industry, and he remarked that digital convergence is the way forward if existing circumstances become our status quo. Professor Dr. Amrish Saxena added to this discussion that evolution and adaptation will be the stepping stones to trudge forward for the better future of this industry. At the end of this session, we also saw the unveiling of special edition of our the newsletter. And last plenary session we had was on 24th June. This was the third plenary session which revolved around the topic digital media as an alternative to conventional media. We had Dr. Joya Srivastav, Joint Secretary of PRSI Delhi Chapter, Ms. Sheetal Sharma, Secretary PRSI Delhi Chapter and Director Supreme Consultant PR, and Ms. Yeshi Seli, Assistant Editor of Business India as our experts on the subject. During the discourse, observations were made on how the mediums have integral roles to play in different environments. They also briefly discussed about the situation of print media industry and how it has been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. This was all from my side. Back to Aditi.
Thank you, ma'am. I now invite Ms. Yashasvika Yadav, Assistant Professor, DME Media School, to share her report on special session.
Thank you again, Aditi. So ICAN 3 witnessed 2 special sessions, both of which were insightful and enriching. While one was international in its nature and probed media practices, the other session discussed about disaster management during the time of COVID in India. The first session dealt with the theme warmongering in news industry. Ms. Betty Dam, an internationally acclaimed investigative Dutch journalist and author of the book A Man and a Motorcycle, was the special guest of the session. The session was moderated by Dr. Amrish Saxena and moderated by me, Ms. Yashasvika. In the second special session, we had with us Dr. Jayashree Jethwani. She is Senior ICSSR Research Fellow, former Post Director, Advertising and Public Relations, Indian Institute of Mass Communication. The session was moderated by Dr. Amrish Saxena and Ms. Krishna Pandey. Dr. Jethwani stated about the importance of communication during disaster management, put into perspective how we cannot eliminate the disaster, but we can obviously manage it. She also stressed about the need to tackle false content on digital media. The deliberations were fruitful and enriching. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. I now invite Ms. Krishna Pandey, Assistant Professor, DME Media School, to share her report on panel discussion.
Thank you, Aditi. The journey that started on June 21st, 2020 in the form of issues of community agenda and news, #Conference for Change, passed through many landmarks, one of them being the panel discussions. The 3 panel discussions were not just the gathering of different and alike minds, sitting across, elucidating and deliberating on various issues. They highlighted most pertinent outcomes too. Panel discussion 1 on Desi Flow, social media storytelling across ethnoscapes, expressing the in-between of Indian diaspora chaired by Dr. Vikrant Kishore, Post Director, Film, Television and Animation School of Communication and Creative Arts, Faculty of Arts and Education, Deakin University, Melbourne, Australia, and Dr. Martin Porter, producer and director of internationally acclaimed participatory media projects, including Big Stories, co-chaired by Dr. Amrish Saxena, Professor and Dean, DME Media School, Noida, and the organizing secretary of ICAN 3, discussed eloquently the quest for establishing an identity in a foreign land and leaving the footprints of that quest for the posterity in the form of a story. This became apparent more so in case of countries like Australia, where Indian diaspora has been in large number and has been trying to establish their roots. Mr. Vikrant Kishore, who is pioneering this aspiration of the Indian diaspora in Australia, along with Mr. Martin Porter, has embarked on a journey to record the experiences of people through the art of storytelling. The discussion centered on the idea of art and how it can be translated into benefits of community building and bilateral engagements. The panel deliberated on harnessing the rapidly growing entrepreneurial spirit of Indians in Australia and how it can benefit their adopted country. The objective was to make the posterity aware of times and tribulations people went through in their quest for establishing their roots. The second panel discussion took up the challenge of examining the community media interventions to voice social and health issues, chaired by Professor Kiran Bala, Dean School of Journalism and Mass Communication, K.R. Mangalam, University Gurugram, had illustrious media persons and academicians like Dr. Ravi Kedhar, Director James Vasant Kunj, Mr. Ratnadi Banerjee, author, producer of radio features, scriptwriter for TV documentaries, media activist and science communicator, Mr. Rao Narendra Yadav, media professional, development communication expert, founder, director of Woodpecker International Film Festival, and executive editor of India Africa Today as panelists. The discussions raised the issue of community and how democracy thrives on the participation of people. Democratic ethos are built on discourse and narrative of the people and the community, which results in policy and decision-making process. These were some of the thoughts echoed by the panelists during the panel discussion too. The session, orchestrated by Dr. Kiran Bala on the role of community media in the process of social awareness, set the tone of the whole deliberation and discussion. The panelists were united in realizing the relevance of community and opining that voice and aspirations of the people should not be denigrated, and media should be the voice of those who cannot speak. And finally, the panel discussion 3 analyzed at length how OTT technology is changing the cinematic landscape. The topic of discussion was OTT platforms, reinvention and consumption during lockdown, curated by Dr. Gauri Chakraborty, academician, filmmaker and artist, joint acting head, Amity School of Communication, Amity University, Noida. It had 4 distinguished panelists from the world of cinema, art, theatre, academia, including Mr. Naresh Sharma, FTIR alumnus, filmmaker and head of Craft Institute, Mr. Pankaj Rakesh, former head of production, Metalite Films, Mumbai, and independent filmmaker, Dr. Anandajit Goswami, professor of liberal arts, coordinator in charge of the Department of Political and Social Studies, Manav Rashna International Institute of Research and Studies, and Mr. Vishesh Azad, filmmaker, artist, media educator, and fashion communicator at NIFT, experimenting with various formats and genres. The discussion could not be more ripe for the prevailing circumstances in the country. The COVID pandemic and the subsequent lockdown witnessed a paradigm shift in the consumption of entertainment and its platform. A tremendous surge was seen in viewership of content over the top platforms across the country. The panel of experts discussed at length how OTT has transformed the cinematic landscape in the country. OTT platform has definitely given wings to creativity of a different genre. The art of storytelling is complemented with the aesthetics of camera. The experts analyzed that how OTT has compelled the creators of the content to invest heavily on the characters. It has opened new vistas for emerging talents and given them identity. Content is king today and is ruling the roost. The curated session explored many facets of this shift vis-a-vis ideation, conceptualization, scripting, talent, etc. within this new exhibition space. The session ended with the message that with OTT, only the master of the trade will survive. Thank you so much. Over to you, Aditi.
Thank you, ma'am. I would now like to invite Ms. Deepika Dhawan, Assistant Professor, DME Media School, to share her report on masterclass.
Good evening to all. I am here to report on the three masterclasses of ICAN 3. The first masterclass of the 10-day Mega International Conference ICAN 3, organized by DME Media School, focused on the topic India's Misplaced Priorities, Community, Media and Policy, was held on June 23. Mr. Akram Haq, founder editor, The Policy Times, New Delhi, discussed how community, media and policy can be both our strengths and weaknesses. Mr. Akram Haq detailed out the positive changes that our country can implement to exterminate faults in policies such as job creation and our healthcare system, among others, which have increased due to the COVID pandemic. The second masterclass on June 27 was on the subject Google Power Searching and Data Scraping. Under the guidance of the expert Professor Umesh Arya, Chairman, Department of Communication Management and Technology, Guru Jambeshwar University of Science and Technology, Hisar, Haryana. In a very interactive session, Professor Arya picked up examples from the audience to explain the deeper working of the Google search engine. He gave hands-on training on different software like Link Clump and Outwit and discussed its relevance in media research. The third masterclass on June 28th on the topic Strengthening Science Communication in Communities at Grassroots was enriched with the factors of miscommunication and their consequences under the guidance of expert Mr. Nimish Kapoor. He is Science E and Head of Science Films Division, Publications Division, Indian Science News and Feature Service at Vigyan Prasar, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Citing examples of the COVID pandemic, he discussed about the miscommunication present in media about scientific information related to coronavirus. He requested the aspiring media aspirants and personalities to keep a check on credible sources before the dissemination of information. On this day, I must thank all the experts and participants for taking part in the world's first live 10-day digital international conference, ICAN 3, on the issues of community, agenda and news. Over to you, Aditi.
Thank you, ma'am. I now invite our knowledge partner and special guest, Professor Dr. Kiran Bala, Dean School of Journalism and Mass Communication, Mangalam University, to say a few words.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Yes. Good afternoon to all of you, all the dignitaries present here, and most important, the students. Without students, there are no teachers. So first of all, I would like to congratulate students of DME who have got such a wonderful dean and management who has cooperated in, who has allowed them, who has given that infrastructure and support to organize this international conference, world's longest online international conference. So this is really a great thing to be associated with such an organization which gives importance to research and academy. Coming to this issue, when we were talking, then since 10 days, I was also attending various sessions of the conference. Then suddenly, one thing that I was realizing that the entire week before this corona thing till February, we were talking about global media, globalization, international issues, nationalism, so on. But somewhere we just forgot to talk about community. Community today in this situation seems very, very important because I think nowhere in this communication situation, this international communication with so many global channels who are yes. Media hegemony is something which is reinforcing this capitalist society. Somewhere we just forgot the marginalized. The mainstream seems to be somewhere forgetting the importance of community media. So discussing community media was very, very important, very pertinent thing to do in present situation. And when we talk about community, I think we just talk about poor people or people those who are at the bottom of the pyramid. But I think there are many communities which don't have any voice to communicate, those who are political and ethnic minorities, labor groups, LGBT identities, all these things are somewhere missing, and I think these were missing in our conversations also. Coming to the topic, coming to this issues of community agenda and news, we talked about community radio, which has nothing to do with news. Then something which intrigues me, that why aren't we forcefully asking for this right to broadcast news on radio? Without news, it's very difficult to communicate, to disseminate the information to the communities, the information which is required. So there are something which generally in classroom conversations, in conferences, in journals, we just forget that this market forces, these market forces are pulling us away from the community media, because community media is not something which can generate revenue, which can bring jobs for the people, particularly happy, where we are getting happy salaries. So these were some issues I was thinking about, and Amrish sir, I would really like to thank you. Thanks to all the people involved in this organization of the conference, faculty members, students, management. All of you have given us this opportunity to collaborate. So on behalf of PR Mangalam University, I would like to thank you. And I think this association will be continued, and this conference will strengthen our board as institutions of higher education. And a lot of learning happened during these 10 days with galaxy of speakers, with a variety of research papers. And I hope we'll carry this association forward, and we'll create some more books, some more conferences, more seminars, workshops. And again, I wish all the best to the organizers for such a wonderful creation. I would say it's a creation, because this was a creative idea by Professor Saxena, that he organized this conference in this situation also, when we are struggling, people are very disappointed, people are feeling very low, and this was such a great opportunity for associate partners, for knowledge partners, and for students also to learn so much during the process. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. I would now like to invite our associate partner and special guest, Dr. Vikrant Kishore, Post Director, Film, Television and Animation, School of Communications and Creative Arts, Faculty of Arts and Education, Deakin University, Melbourne, Australia, to address the viewers.
Sir, if you could kindly unmute yourself. Yes.
Hello, everyone. A very good evening from Melbourne. It's almost 9 o'clock here. So, over the last 10 days or so, I closely observed how Professor Ambrish Saxena meticulously organized this online conference with the support of his enthusiastic students and amazing teaching staff, some of whom I have had the pleasure to work with, such as Sumantra, Pramod, Sukriti, Manmeet, Kritika, Ritvik, and others. So any project at this scale, especially online, is a huge undertaking, but the way things were managed and organized smoothly must be commended. This conference certainly provides an opportunity for academics and students to present their research work, fosters new network and collaboration, and helps in adding value to one's research. I hope to see this conference continue in collaboration with Deakin, and we are really proud of this association. And we want it to be done in a bigger way, both online and offline, in a face-to-face environment next year. So it will be really good to do in that way. We do need to collaborate more effectively with regards to international publications and creative works. Probably in our next collaboration, I would like to move towards creative research outputs. Okay, so looking at documentaries or short films as creative research Probably that is a kind of a field that has not been explored much in India, and that is what we should look at developing more at DME as well. And I would like us to move in that area, and I'm more than happy to plan and work collaborative on this. Once again, I would like to congratulate firstly the chairman of DME, Mr. Vipin Sahni, chairman, Chairperson, Ms. Kiran Sahni, Vice Chairman, Mr. Aman Sahni, DME Director General Justice Bhanwar Singh, and Director of DME, Professor Ravi Swami, and of course, Professor Amrish Saxena and Dr. Susmita Bala for spearheading this fantastic initiative that not only benefits mass communication and media academics, professional students in India, but across the world. And many congratulations and thanks for everything. It was really a great initiative, and it was a pleasure to be a part of it. So thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. I now request our knowledge partner and special guest, Mr. Mohan Shukla, Chairman of the Public Relations Society of India, Delhi chapter, to address the audience.
Mr. Shukla, are you there?
No, he is not to be seen.
Yeah, move on then.
Sorry for the inconvenience caused. I would like to invite our knowledge partner and special guest, Professor Dr. Ujjwal K. Chowdhury, Pro Vice Chancellor and Dean, School of Media, Communication and Fashion, Adamas University, Kolkata, West Bengal, to address the audience.
Thank you for the invitation. First of all, it's a fabulous thing. I mean, very rarely would such a thing be done with such guts. And even today, on the 10th day, last session, 150 people are here at this point of time, and I'm sure there are more online on Facebook Live as well. Hats off to Ambrish ji, Ravikant ji, Shushmita ji, and their leader, Justice Saab also. Everyone, thank you very much. It's a fabulous thing. And so much of diversity of geographical participation from Melbourne to Chittagong to Kashmir to Delhi to Calcutta to South India, and so much of thematic diversity that we had. We have just heard the reviews being given, the report being given, and methodological diversity also. You have panel discussion, you have master class, you have keynote address, and then you have thematic papers. So many films, so many publications, online and offline. Fabulous. It's indeed a huge collective experiential learning. Learning is not by lectures. So what we are listening is information. What you are doing is experience. So experiential learning by doing. Yes, Justice Saab, namaste. Namaste. For I just see you on visually as well. So moving ahead, I have some 3 or 4 suggestions to be taken up. Now there are representatives of several universities and media schools here from all over the country, and as far as Bangladesh and Melbourne as well. And we can also get friends from other countries as well, Indian origin scholars in many other countries as well. So moving ahead, we have made a 10 years jump in EdTech. So what demonetization did to fintech, COVID did to EdTech. So we made a 10 years jump, a leap in education technology, and thereby the dependency on digital learning and digital way of life would increase. Entertainment is digital. So this is an abnormal situation. We are caught up at home. That's a different thing. But even later, it will be only physical plus digital, and not all physical. So we're moving ahead. Digital has come to stay in a big way. If that is so, the point that we have to note now is that the impact of false content, I refuse to say fake news, false content will increase in a big way, because if it is fake, it's not news. If it is news, it's not fake. So to combat this, and also to understand functioning or basics of media, we need a media literacy campaign in this country. So I propose that Ambarish ji is very good in bringing heads of multiple organizations together. Maybe this can also be another attempt. We can all come together later as a follow-up of ICAN 3, in which we develop a media literacy workshop for 11 and 12, class 11 and 12 students, 6 hours, and a 40 hours module, a course. As per UGC, 32 to 40 hours normally is one course. So we develop one course of 40 hours, which is 20 lectures. And we develop it completely to be done online also, and also physically or blended online plus offline. So these media literacy can focus on one, understanding good and bad films, the differentiation between them, identifying and busting false content, how so-called fake news can be identified and busted, false content and fake news reporting and the legal aspects and cyber crimes related to that, mobile journalism, that is citizen journalism, fundamentals of it, RTI and media, use of RTI and media, basics of it, and media and social impact and behavior change. So these six aspects can be there for a full course, but that is 40 hours. But looking at 6 hours workshop can be focused largely on false content and good and bad cinema. So if we can do this, if there are 10 universities cooperating, universities, colleges together cooperating for this, and if 10 go to 10 HS schools, you can even select the schools from which you get the maximum students in your graduation course. Then these 10 schools, and if we address 100 or 150 students, at least 1,000 youngsters go through this 6 hours workshop. And we certify it. We certify it with all the 10 university partners signing it. The certificate becomes very significant. So till physical workshop is allowed, we can do it online. And when the physical is available, then we can do physically as well. Secondly, these 10 universities, because this course or this entire 40 hours module has to be developed through cooperation of all of us and our own ideation and everything together. So let us adopt this course in our syllabus, credit course or non-credit, depending on getting it passed through the university's portals. In case of us, it's not tough because we are ourselves a university. But credit or non-credit, let this be a compulsory education in media education. It's very significant, and at the entry level itself, the first semester itself. So that's my suggestion number one, developing an action model for media literacy campaign and media literacy education with 8 to 10 universities and colleges coming together, and even if international partners, it would be great. The second point is digital asset management. Now everyone was coming into Facebook for fun of it, Twitter to fight with others, Tinder to date, and YouTube to look at videos, and Instagram to just share your food and travel pictures. Now these were all fun elements. What you have understood that digital can also become an asset. The house that I am sitting just now, 14 years ago, I bought it for 30 lakhs. I am told, I don't know, I am told if the price is 1 crore and 10 lakhs now. That's notional price just now where I'm sitting at home. So similarly, this is a physical asset. Therefore, it has a price which is notional or actual, whatever it is. Digital asset is still not known. So can we develop understanding and course maybe on digital asset management? It's important that we understand how to make individuals digitally brands. Going ahead, digital reputation, digital brand value, digital brand equity would be significant aspect in marketing communications, in brand communications. So can we develop that digital assets management, a course, a program on that, which would require a lot of content, largely from communication, but also from a bit from management and IT. So that's the other thing, second thing I would like to put forth. The third thing, entire journalism world is going for, and I have spoken it in my plenary session, entire journalism world is going for a total upheaval. More than 1,500 people have lost job among the first 5 media groups of India. The top 5 I'm talking, the richest 5. If you go down the line to the 100 top media schools, media organizations, it will be, I don't know, maybe 10,000 or 8,000 people who have lost jobs. So the point is that people are losing jobs, but the hunger of news is not dying, it's rather increasing. When you are in a controlled situation, in a restricted situation, which in some way will continue for quite some time now, there will be a greater hunger of news and entertainment. So how do we really support that? So there has to be a new perception. That's a new concept. We know the term, we don't know the use of it properly, mobile journalism or MOJO. Can we develop India? Any university at this point of time does not have an international quality. And with humility, I'm saying that I have read at least 30, 40 top university and institutes syllabi. World-class mobile journalism course is not there still now. It's more theoretical and conceptual, and actually hands-on mobile journalism course is not there. Can we develop that? India and our children, our youngsters, our students need it, because there is a huge vacuum in the world of mobile journalism and digital journalism. The older generation is losing jobs. They are sitting at home or getting into other things. But this younger generation, for them, a huge market has been opened up with digital journalism. But they don't know how to enter into that, because the journalism they study and the journalism that tomorrow is required is drastically different technologically. Conceptually, a lot of things are similar. Ethically, a lot of things are similar. But technologically and logistically and many other ways, operationally, it's very, very different. So can we do that? That's my third suggestion. And my last suggestion, we might have to teach online media for quite some time. Unfortunately, media needs studio. Media needs hands-on work. Media needs practical work. Can we really develop together? So in online, there are 4 components. Online content creation, online content delivery, that is not just Zoom lecture, there are multiple aspects of delivery. Learners engagement, that's a big problem in online education. Just now, 180 people are there maybe, all 180 are queued into the discussion, we do not know. So engagement is something that's a challenge. So online learners engagement, and finally online learners evaluation. The engagement is also including the practical part. So can we think of creating an online media learning module, a learning module which tells how to create content? What are the 20 different ways and sources and avenues to create content? How to deliver content? Just other than Google Classroom and Zoom lecture, which you have now mastered over 4 months, what are the other ways of delivering online content? How to engage the learner, including virtual studio, creation of virtual studio, how to engage the learner, and how to evaluate the learner. On these 4 points, can we develop 3 hours course again on online media learning? Tomorrow, this learning can be delivered blended digitally, physical plus digital. But can we do a digital one in the meantime? Yes, there are glimpses, bits and parts of it is already in Coursera, in many other courses. But in Indian context, contextualizing it, can we develop and bring it in our syllabus? To conclude, a course on media literacy, including a 6 hours workshop for youngsters, school students. A course on mobile journalism, which is the new thing coming up in a big way. A course on digital assets management, and a course on online media learning. If these 4 are developed over the next 7 to 8 months, by the time ICAN 4 comes, or other different initiatives by this partner institute like We Do Media Next, and thank you DME for very actively participating in Media Next. Our students are just now going through a midterm exam, so they could not so much actively participate in ICAN 3, though the teachers have participated, and I am so happy that one of my teachers has got best award of one of the technical session, best paper award. Thank you for that. So having said this, whichever the partner institute does these programs, we can put one by one these courses and debates there as well. But these 4, again, media literacy, mobile journalism, MOJO, TAM, digital assets management, and online media learning, these 4 are the call of the moment, the need of the time. 2020 media education demands this 4. Can we really do it? And thank you. A fabulous experience, a fabulous experiential learning by doing has been ICAN 3. Salute to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. I now invite Amrit, sir, to provide highlights about the proceedings of ICAN 3.
Okay, so talking about the proceedings of ICAN 3, what we did, that whatever abstracts were there, that we published in the form of a book. because the papers were published in the form of regular books, the 6 books which have come out. And as far as the proceedings means, the abstract which was submitted by the authors and which we accepted. So in all 158 abstracts we accepted for the conference, based on which we planned the paper presentations and all. All those papers have been put in one book which we call as proceedings. So we are having a digital unveiling of the proceedings, and thereafter the proceedings will be available to the authors and the presenters in the digital form, and when the things will normalize, we will also publish these proceedings. So let us have a look on the proceedings, and let us have formally unveiling of the proceedings. Director Vigyan Prasar, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, to address the audience. I will request Professor Chowdhury to formally announce the unveiling of the proceedings. Professor Chowdhury.
Yeah, I formally hereby announce the publication on the proceedings of ICAN 3. Thank you for the honor given to me.
Thank you.
I would now like to invite our guest of Eminence, Dr. Nakul Parashar, Director, Vigyan Prasar, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, to address the audience.
Well, it's 5. Good evening, all of you, and especially to the gentlemen in Australia. It's quite late over there. It's a privilege for having me on this platform, and I feel very honored to be, addressing all of you, especially for this marathon 10-day webinar ICAN 3 that happened despite all odds. As rightly said by Professor Ujjwal, it's indeed something that we have gained a lot from this experience. A very well cited example with demonetization and pandemic. It was wonderful comparison. I was spellbound. I mean, I was busy doing something, but when you started speaking, Ujjwal, it was awesome. It was a pleasure to meet you, and thank you, Dr. Amrishji, for getting people of different caliber on this platform. It's a wonderful. I wish I could have joined this conference and have heard people speaking. But whatever little I could, hear, It was quite nice, and it was very well timed, and I got a lot of points from all those what people just spoke about. In fact, at Vigyan Prasar, we had launched our OTT channel almost a year and a half ago, called indiascience.in. And as you rightly said, it's time when OTT channels are getting right up over the curve, and everybody's. I mean, there's a great deal of liking towards OTT. Why to go far away at my own place where I have a bunch of people, oldies who are technologically challenged, feel more comfortable watching OTT channels than the DTH channels. So when I took my India Science and showed it to them, so it took a while for them to understand, because science has been always considered as a very dry and a drab subject, especially when it comes to communication. But new technologies, new ways, new experiments, and especially people of caliber who've spoken here. Especially, I'm sorry, I'm repeating Ujjwal Das' name again and again, because what he spoke was very meaningful, and this is what is sets the trend for the coming generations, especially those wanting to pursue journalism and mass communication. So I know there's a lot that can be said on and on. However, back to what we do at Vigyan Prasar, we try to do our bit in science communication, popularization, and extension. Of lately, we have gone ahead and expanded our outreach program in different languages. There is a special liking towards languages like Urdu, Bangla, Tamil, and others. So that's where Vigyan Prasar has gotten into it. And we have come up with the third and the fourth edition of our monthly experiment that we started with, which is a newsletter, which is now turning into a monthly. It's called Vigyan Katha in Bangla, Tajassus in Urdu, Arevel Palagai in Tamil, Kutuhali in Kannada, Jigyasa in Gujarati, and Marathi Vigyan Patrika in Marathi. Besides our flagship monthly, which is called Dream 2047. In times when other magazines have been struggling, I am happy to say that we still have a circulation and subscription of more than 36,000 readers, dedicated readers. So this is all possible because youngsters that you produce come forward, and we promote them to take up subjects that are very dry and drab. And particularly scientists, when you ask them to write something that can make the society understand what they are doing, to make something which is palatable from what the society could understand, is a tough task. So there's another project of the government Department of Science and Technology that we run, which is called AWSAR, AWSAR, which talks about articulating writing skills in research, scientific research. So that's where we teach people, we teach all these hardcore scientists to tell society in a simple and a layman language what they do and what kind of societal responsibility that these people have, which is like CSR, we have something called scientific social responsibility. So this is all a culmination of invoking the hidden writer which is there within all of us. It's all about how we communicate, how we talk to somebody whom we are facing, and that's the first thing. So language, format, the number of things. I'm sure you're all students, and it's like showing a torch to the sun. So I don't want to delve deep into it. But however, I really want to congratulate Dr. Amrish Saxena and his team that has organized this, and I wish all of you all the very best. And I'm sure you would have had gained a lot, and I'm glad that you executed this all these 10 days despite all odds. My congratulations to you, and I wish all the organizers, participants, all the best. And from Vigyan Prasar standpoint, we are always there to work and support anything that is related to communication, popularization, and extension of science and technology for the society. With this, I would like to end my words here. Thank you so much once again, and congratulations for organizing this marathon event. ICAN 3, I guess I was there in ICAN 1 or ICAN 2, if I remember. And
Yeah, I can do it.
ICAN 2, yeah, I remember that was where I met with Mr. Sahni and others as well.
Yes.
Right. A pleasure to have been here, and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with your kind words. I would now like to request Ms. Kritika Sati, Assistant Professor, DME Media School, to share with us a report on cultural program.
Thank you, Aditi. So now I would like to tell you about the cultural program of ICAN 3. Cultural programs are life of any event. The DME Media School has always included cultural programs in all our events, and we continue to do so even in the digital mode. The inaugural session of ICAN 3 concluded with stunning performances by the students of DME, our alumni, and other diverse artists. In the first cultural program held on June 21, we saw graceful performances by Ritika Talukdar, Naina Parmeshwaran, and Shreya Sinha, first year students of DME Media School, followed by captivating choreographies by artists like Ms. Parul Mishra, Ms. Shubhoshri Ghosh, and Ms. Vigyan Raghav. Next, the electrifying Bhangra performance by Soumya Saxena and Tanika Bajaj compelled everyone to move to the beat. And I am delighted to inform you all that the valedictory session will also be followed by a cultural program in which we will not only see some enchanting music and dance performances by the students of DME, but also some splendid performances by guest artists. We also have a fashion show and a mono acting performance by talented students of DME, which will surely leave everyone mesmerized. So all I can say is the pandemic may has stopped our movements, but not our zeal. Thank you. Over to you, Aditi.
Thank you, ma'am. I now invite Mr. Saksham Bakshi on behalf of students of DME Media School to share his thoughts on ICAN 3 as a learning platform.
Thank you, Aditi. A very good afternoon to all the eminent and honorable guests, internal dignitaries, faculty members, and viewers. I, Saksham Bakshi, of second year BJMC, first of all tell you that I really want to congratulate and thank DME Media School on successfully hosting world's first 10-day digital live international media conference and in association with Deakin University, Melbourne, Australia, and for giving me such an opportunity to share my experience on ICAN with such renowned and eminent guests from across the world. ICAN 2, that was Indian Cinema and Alternate Networks, ICAN 2, that was Indian Cinema and Alternate Networks, was organized in November 2018, and that was my first ever event after taking admission in DME. My excitement level went to the extreme when in the first event only I was chosen for anchoring. Such events help in building up and boosting up students' morale and confidence. It was an extreme fun in organizing a mega event and participating in it. After a huge success of ICAN 2, we were eagerly waiting for ICAN 3, that is, Issues of Community, Agenda and News, which was originally a 4-day event planned to be organized in the month of March, but due to corona pandemic and lockdown, we had to postpone it further. None imagined that even during the lockdown and corona pandemic, DMA Media School would be able to host ICAN 3, but it is only because of the dedication of Amrish sir, Bala ma'am, and amazing faculty members that we were able to host ICAN 3 digitally for 10 long days, connected globally with such distinguished guests and experts, and received a huge number of participation from all across the globe. From ICAN 2 till date, I have been anchoring in all the intra-college events like Vitika, SIFI, that is Cineast International Film Festival of India, and the orientation of the new batch, to name a few. I want to thank all my faculty members and especially Ms. Manmeet Kaur, Assistant Professor DME Media School, for being so supportive, believing in me, and giving me such opportunities to showcase my talent in front of notable guests and experts and helping me polish my skills. I also attended every session of ICAN 3 and really learned a lot, listening to different views and opinions of research paper presenters and experts of all the sessions. At the end, I only want to say that it was a first time experience for the students, participants, and even for our faculty to conduct and participate in a 10-day digital live media conference, that is ICAN 3. But today, attending the valedictory function, we can say that despite having certain restrictions of technology and connectivity, ICAN 3 was a huge success. Thank you all.
Thank you, Sakshan. Moving further, now let us have a glimpse of how our management has helped us throughout and ensured that we don't face any problem during this 10-day long journey of ICAN 3.
Hi, this is Aman Sahni, and for us at DME, these have been a few very exciting days, full of some amazing technical sessions, special sessions, and master classes. As an institute, we've really enjoyed hosting the ICAN 3 conference, and I hope that you've enjoyed it too.
More satisfying is the fact that more than 150 participants have been able to present their papers, and this feature is a unique of its own kind. Dr. Amrish Saxena, Dean Faculty of Media School, and Dr. Sushmita Bala, HOD, deserve my huge compliments and blessings for this successful mission. Thank you all.
Everybody is enjoying the festival, and we have forgotten that there is a big problem like Corona. That's the strength of ICAN 3. And there is a reason for this trend. The reason is that the kind of people who are involved in this from various countries, means you name any country and people are participating in ICAN 3. The kind of people who are participating and the spectrum of the topics which is being discussed. The spectrum is so great that I'm enjoying it so much, and I'm very sure all the participants are enjoying it to a great extent. Thank you.
I now invite our special guest and media partner, Mr. Akram Haq, founder editor, The Policy Times, New Delhi, to say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm always afraid when I start speaking, especially in front of people like Professor Ujjwal K. Chowdhury, Amrish sir, and I also had one of my close senior, Mohan Shukla sir, but unfortunately I think due to shortage of time he left, and I saw. Initially I only used to know, I think when Professor Chowdhury is here, no one needs to share any knowledge, especially people like me, further on the topic. But I'm really, and I have never seen Dr. Chowdhury out of when it comes to sharing knowledge, sharing wisdom and best practices on anything, whether it is Amrish Saxena is, as I told you in the inaugural session, one of the most humble persons I have seen. When he came to my office, it was an honor to meet him. And then we did an interview, but we couldn't publish it. I think we failed on that. So that's the kind of person he is. I only knew Dr. Saxena, but today, after this 10 days, I came to know about Sushmita Bala ma'am, Ravi Kant, Swami sir, then Justice Singh, and also Aman Sahni. The way the real leaders are behind and giving this stage to the people like Dr. Saxena, Sushmita Bala ma'am, and as with this leadership. And I think that, I mean, more than few words, this I cannot express with words. I think this should be nominated in Guinness Book of World Record. I have not seen any event or conference lasting for 10 days. People might have been doing, but we as media partner, I think this is the first longest event we have done. So it is in our Guinness Book of World Record. And I also want to thank Saxena sir for giving us the opportunity to be the media partner, because I think we are a young organization and having faith in us, and he did not allow 10, 15 other media houses to be partners. He gave us the exclusive and solo, the mileage that we have. And I'm very proud to share that we have more than, I think, 300 school principals in our network. And I have been regularly sharing with them. And many of them are also watching this, and many of their students too. Because this is also my aim, to reach out to the students at the school level. Because unless we reach out to the school level and sensitize them about these issues, the journey is not over. Now, I, as a young like media person or professional, I want to say a few words which is beyond and above the conference, and that is, why are we doing all this exercise? Our narrow reason might be branding. Our narrow reason might be reaching out to new stakeholders. We get admissions. When I started Policy Times, leaving a very lucrative job at FICCI, and I don't have to explain how lucrative jobs still there are, and if I decide to go back, I will have a very bright future. There is no doubt in that, unless Corona type crisis comes in and breaks everything apart. What I want to say, that it is just not always about money and career. We have to keep our country, our society as a real goal and real objective of our life. What I mean to say, that the love and respect of a Chinese for China, the love and respect for a Vietnamese for Vietnam, the love and respect and emotion for a Japanese for Japan, and so is for any other country. Perhaps we also fall in that same parameter that we love our country. But just loving and saying that makes no sense if you don't act on it. What I simply want to say, that our entire education system is a dire failure when our schools, colleges and universities can't produce the simplest thing in the world is like mask. Our Prime Minister says today in this speech that every individual should wear mask. And what unfortunate is that the mask needs least amount of technology, least amount of investment, least amount of any possible technology or innovation, but we are importing millions and $billions of mask and sanitizer. So after mask, sanitizer is another simplest thing that someone can produce. But while we are like, we definitely have one of the most literate masks in the world, but somewhere, how is our literacy and education connected with the real challenges the society faces is really, we have to introspect and think very seriously. Having a course in journalism or having a course in technology, having a course in medical doesn't make any sense if we can't solve the real challenges that our society is facing. And I think I'm really happy that ICAN 3, the ways the ICAN 3 have taken up the issues. I think they have the real issue of the society. Have or had our media houses taken all these core issues in their daily, you just take last 100 episodes of prime time of all the prime media channels, you will have, or you will find no connection about the issues that you have taken and the issues that they talk about. That is where is the biggest failure of Indian media. So my request would be that along with like creating or giving certificates or producing a lot of journalists, if we can set this agenda in the minds of every individual who are pursuing whether journalism or anything, that a peaceful, progressive and a superpower India is the ultimate goal of us and of every individual. And when we do say that, we have to also make a complete action plan of how do we materialize the simple 3 words that a peaceful, progressive and economic or socio-economic superpower India. And every individual student should be aspired, and so is the faculty members, that if we can do that. And I think one important aspect I want to just say, because this is what I feel. Imagine if corruption, black money, all are removed from the bureaucracy, from politics, and from corporates, and at the individual level, India's GDP growth and our peace, the peace of Indians will double. The degree of peace and the GDP growth of India will minimum grow by the double rate. So teaching the very basic ethical etiquettes and behavioral things like do not lie, झूठ मत बोलो life में, चाहे कुछ भी बड़ा कुछ हो जाए, but don't lie, don't cheat. If you have to charge 10,000 rupees for this activity, do not charge 20,000 rupees unethically. So, and so yesterday I talked about that how we should stop this. Tuition is the biggest scam of the education system. As long as tuition will sustain and continue, Indian education system can never be as the best in the world. So these are certain things that I just wanted to say. I want to say last thing, when Bill Gates was dying, Steve Jobs, when Steve Jobs, the Apple like innovator or the mastermind behind Apple, when he was dying, and he had almost $50 billion in his account in the company, he said that $50 billion or 100 or 50,000 US dollar makes no sense to me. What really makes me happy, the amount of money in the bank will last there, and I cannot make a single penny use of it for me and for anything that I can think of. It cannot buy my death or buy my life. But the innovations that I have given to the society, the solutions that I have given to the society are all that matters. So what I mean to say, that let us try to find the real challenges of the country and provide solution to them through the activity that we are doing. And if we can do that, I think no one can stop India to be a real superpower that we all are aspiring India to be. Thank you so much. With this, that we are such a small media house, but you gave us a chance. I'm really happy and grateful to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your knowledge with us. I now request our special guest, Dr. Joya Chakraborty, Head Department of Mass Communication and Journalism, Tejpur University, Assam, to say a few words.
Hello, good evening. And in the beginning, I would want to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to be here at the valedictory session. Indeed, I could not attend most of the sessions, but then I was listening to the reports of the different panel discussions, the plenary sessions, and the technical sessions which was being presented today as part of the valedictory program. And I'm really amazed at the variety of topics which have been covered, the relevance and the time-worthiness of most of the topics which have been dealt by the different speakers. I had the opportunity of going through some of the abstracts as a reviewer, and I'm really happy that during these difficult times when probably the young people are looking for opportunities, are looking for ways to vent out their creative energy, DME Media School has created this opportunity for the young researchers to participate in this 10-day long event, and they have been improving their knowledge, they have been sharing knowledge, and it has been a mutually learning experience for everybody. The amount of partnership, the national and international partnership which has been created by this event is also very, appreciable. What comes to forth with an event like this, when I see about more than 150 people live participating in this discussion, so many young people from across India, starting from Kashmir to the end of South to international presence, so many young people give to very large papers, which gives me the faith that yes, the young people are interested in research. There is a very good future for academic research in India. People are interested. And that is really something that probably each and every media institution in India should focus on. They should focus on research as a background to knowledge creation. When we talk about media, we understand the phenomena of breaking news, we understand the phenomena of adrenaline rush, we understand the phenomena of currency, we understand that it's a very transient and fast moving field. But then the strength that the field gains because of the research foundation is extremely important, and it's heartening to see that DME Media School is inculcating that spirit of academic research in young minds. And the amount of participation that it has generated in the field of research is really commendable. I was also listening to some of the speakers ahead of me where they have discussed about the different areas of academic interest which needs to be emphasized on. And it's very true that when we have to establish the relevance of media education or communication education, which has to be made India centric, which has to be made centric of the development of the developing economy that we are in, the multifaceted cultural and social milieu of our country. And when communication education tries to have a bearing on these factors, the variety that India represents, the cultural and social variety that India represents, that is when our discipline would grow. It's very important that what is talked about as the de-Westernization of media education. It's very important that young researchers learn to establish their research work, their research perspective to this diversity and the context that we establish as a country in India. So again, I would want to congratulate the organizers. I want to thank Professor Ambarish Saxena for giving me this opportunity. Indeed, I'm very thankful to be enlightened today, and at the end today, listening to the reports of the valedictory session, I'm really, I was just hoping that I should have attended some of those other plenary sessions. I should have listened to people, and I could hear every possible important name in communication or education being referred to as part of the different reports. So thank you again. I want to keep it brief for having me here, and best of luck for all such future initiatives. Tejpur University Department of Mass Communication is glad to be a partner for this initiative, and we would obviously look forward to working together in future. Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you, ma'am, for your impactful words. I now request our special guest, Dr. Asad Nizam, Deputy Director, EMPC, IGNOU, to address the audience. I request Ms. Kritika Sati, Assistant Professor, DME Media School, to present a report on creative and digital operations. Over to you, Kritika, ma'am.
Thank you once again, Aditi. On behalf of my team, Creative and Digital Operation, I'm here to present a report. So first, let me introduce the team members. Mr. Sumantra Sarthi Das, Mr. Ritik Ghosh, Ms. Deepika Dhawan, Mr. Sachin Nair, and Mr. Anmol Mehta. We also have student members Gunjan Joshi, Sargorika Basag, Simran Kaur, Vishal Das, Ansh Kumar Pandey, Soumya Saxena, Twinkle Gupta, Ritika Talukdar, and Riya Yadav. This is the team, and I feel proud to be a part of this team. We would like to thank each one of you for being part of ICAN 3 and making it happen. Our team has really put in enormous effort since November last year. We relentlessly worked from the concept to completion. The team worked on designing and production, making creatives, making videos, promos, ads, publicity, working on the website, social media, handling the entire digital platform and PR to host this first of its kind, a 10-day international media conference, a mega event entirely on the digital platform, in hope to spread across the good work, as the tagline goes, Conference for Change. And in the process, the help and support of the entire DME Media School faculty under the leadership of our Dean, Dr. Ambarish Saxena, and Head, Dr. Susmita Bala, is much appreciated and held in high respect and gratitude. Also, I would like to thank our management, Director, Professor Ravi Swami, and Digital Marketing Head, Dr. Purva Ranjan, for their cooperation and support. Our entire effort made in the belief and hope to create a community where we keep up the good work of sharing and exchanging knowledge and ideas to help in each other's growth and contribute positively on the planet we live in. With these words, I thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. It's now time to let's meet the people who made this conference a grand success. Now I request Dr. Ravi Swami, Director, DME, to say a few words.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so respected dignitaries and luminaries, I feel fortunate when I need not use words like people on the stage, off the stage, because this e-platform is so egalitarian in nature. It gives equality to all of us. So nobody is on the stage, nobody is on the dais, everybody is on the same platform. So that is the first pleasure which this e-mode is giving to us. Uh, 30th June 2020 will go down in the history of DME as a great day since we have reached a new destination today. Yes, it is indeed a new destination. This destination or this height is so great, is so pious, is so technically rich, and is so virtual that all of us at Delhi Metropolitan Education are feeling like having reached Kailash Mansarovar. Yes, sir, it gives a feeling as if the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra is complete and all of us have reached the great Kailash Mansarovar. The smiling faces of my media school professors are narrating the story of having achieved this mission impossible. Well, sir, with 3 successful conferences, ICAN 3 has now become a big brand in the global media industry. I just now checked on the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ and also on the Shanghai Stock Exchange. I am proud to announce that ICAN is valued at $10 million on 30th June on all these stock exchanges. Well, I am a man of finance, so please permit me for that. And well, all this has not happened without good reasons. There are so many reasons for ICAN becoming a big brand, and these reasons include the depth of the discussions, the variety of the topics deliberated upon during the technical sessions, the global reach of the conference, the people associated with the conference, the organizations which came together for ICAN 3, the E-mode, and lastly, the length of the conference, which itself is a trend setter. ICAN 3 took us from Amritsar to Los Angeles, Hollywood to Bollywood, Tollywood to Tellywood, and this forest to that jungle, one city to another, Noida to Melbourne, Gurugram to Kolkata to Mr. Chowdhury, so on and so forth. So it was like crisscrossing a city of joy and Josh. Well, to conclude, I'll say that 11 is an auspicious number. Bala ma'am will agree with me that 11 is the auspicious number. So ma'am, ICAN 4 should be of 11 days. That is my request and advice to you. And our seniors, Director General sir and the Vice Chairman sir are here, and they are nodding their heads, Ambrish sir, so they have given permission for an 11-day ICAN 4. Thank you and wishing you all the best for ICAN 4. Thank you.
Aditi, I think Professor Asad Nizam is back. Sir, are you audible now? I mean, have you sorted your audio problem?
We'll have to try. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
it's fine. Ritik, just check.
Yes, please go ahead, sir. You're audible.
Wonderful. Thank you. I think I changed the mic. There was something wrong with my mic. So it's my wife's mic that is working now. Well, thank you so much, Ambrish ji, for letting me be part of this wonderful day, 30th June 2020, the valedictory session that is taking place. When you called me yesterday to be part of this session, I said that basically because I have been, a regular, I said actually this was the best choice available to me because you see the pandemic drove me home. I can't go out,
and I have to submit a report to my office weekly as to what I'm doing for the university students. And whatever you may write, but the actual interaction that takes place with the professionals and with the students, that was what mattered most. And this opportunity came as God sent. And just imagine, I can see 21st to 30th. So many, every day was such a pleasant treat. You had organized the best of people, the academics, the best of sessions, and what wonderful partners in administration and faculty you must be having to have done this marvelous job, remarkable job that we have been able to gain so much. And at such a large platform, internationally and everywhere. You know, how one gains the most. It's not because of the experts, but because of the students. I'm sure you have students who are very good, who have supported you like anything. And I can see their participation in the sense right from not only because you've allowed them to participate as anchors and other things, but because their involvement is there. And that is what is speaking of DME. You have been able to bring out their participation in this. And of course, you know, from the several sessions that one has attended, many of us are outdated in the sense what is happening. uh, uh, 80 to 90% people on OTT platforms are not our age. So to come to know all that, so much the teachers learn from the students, you know, constructive learning. And that is what was very rewarding in this conference, that you have been able to bring out the youth, speak up, and to tell us what kind of research topics they're choosing, what kind of ideas they are having. I think this was a remarkable job that this conference in DME has done. And the credit goes to your active faculty. I'm sure your active management kind of partners that you have. You know, the change is very important thing. And change kind of reminds me of my golden days in Jamia Millia, because I'm from the very first batch. And Professor Kedwai, when he started the mass communication school, you know, there was everyone with the film fraternity. And therefore, ours was the very first batch to have in the country the television production, those kind of cameras, association with York University and other places. And our generation digitization is, you know, changing the wheel for the people who have been from our generation. So a new thing is happening all around, and you have to understand that the new generation, the students, they think differently. They've seen life differently. They have different kind of experiences with the technology, and though they respect us, but they are fast moving. You know, the change is so dramatic. You know, if you take the total lifespan of 100 years, let's say if a person has the age of 50 years, then about 100 lifetimes are there. And the change has come in 5 lifetimes. 95 have gone virtually in the village. So the change is happening so fast that we find it very difficult to comprehend that. Now, in 1985, the countrywide classroom started with UGC experiment. And that was the first kind of classroom experiment of this kind that we are doing now. At that time, I said, you know, when the interaction takes place, it is not sufficient for the educational purpose, you know, interaction. So the learning to have passed on, you should have a feedback mechanism. You should know whether the person has learned or not. So that kind of system mechanism was very restricted in that countrywide classroom. Now the technology is offering that, the digital, the kind of thing that you have done, you have organized. And as Professor Ujjwal was saying, that we have actually leapfrogged for about 10 years. Maybe this pandemic is doing some good to education. I'm sure the next thing is that there will be smaller groups, narrow casting will take place, and there will be more understanding of the student, more sharing and more mentoring and facilitating of the education, and trying to understand them, and then making sure that, you know, learning is taking place. That kind of an environment is coming up, and Professor Ujjwal has kind of hinted towards that also. Here, from here, where? the change is going to be there despite whatever is happening. So I feel maybe, this kind of a challenge that we are seeing right now, in one of the sessions, Rakesh had mentioned, Pankaj Rakesh, I think, he used it for a very fantastic purpose, in the sense there will be so much of information, so much of knowledge, so much of audio, video material. So the actual work of facilitator will be to find out what is it that has to be fed, or what is it that may be of interest to the student. And that is going to be another mammoth task, because this has to be done in a systematic manner, in a manner so that mediation takes place in teaching learning situations. So this is another challenge, and I don't know whether the future will mean that we will feed the students, or students will have the freedom to, because the governments are going to be very autocratic. They will try to be using the humans, and humans will be very independent. So that kind of a challenge I see in the for the next generation, maybe 40 years, 20 years, 30, 40 years down from here. So that kind of thing has to be also be there. Kept in mind that change is kind of perpetual. After ICAN 3, there may be several ICANs, ICAN 25, 30, maybe I'm talking of ICAN 25 now. So hopefully this will continue, and this is a landmark that we have created today, because it's a marvelous thing that you have been able to achieve through open distance learning. I can see a definite step forward, and I can see a great job being done by your institution, as well as your management, your faculty, and I congratulate especially your students who have been very active participants in this. I wish you all the best forever. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with your kind words. I would like to invite Honorable Justice Bhavat Singh, Director General DME, to say a few words to the gathering.
Sir, if you could kindly unmute yourself, sir. Unmute, sir. There's one small mic icon on the left bottom. If you could please click that. Yes, sir. Perfectly fine, sir.
It's okay now?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Good evening, Mr. Aman, Sahni, and other dignitaries. The great philosopher, Greek philosopher Plato said that necessity is the mother of invention. We find solutions to the challenges by creating opportunities for better outcomes. Dr. Amrish Saxena and Dr. Sushmita Bala deserve my compliments for having organized this webinar. 10 days webinar has brought very good results. More than 150 participants have been able to present their papers, and this feature is of its own kind. It's very unique. Many issues which are subsisting in our society, or say in community, have been discussed and deliberated by the participants, and there is still more to be referred to, and one of them is the poverty. Recently, when migrants have walked on foot for up to hundreds of miles, it depicted and demonstrated the extreme conditions of poverty. Our Prime Minister this afternoon has declared a package of 90,000 crores of rupees to help those who are poor. There are many more issues. Corruption is one of them, and it needs to be addressed very quickly and wisely. Then our education system is not flawless. Neither it is uniform, nor it has been able to provide education to the needy persons. Then the pollution is also some great issues to be discussed. Many of The participants have discussed it. Women's safety is another such issue, and the unemployment is at its peak. We now need to uh, solve this issue in particular because our youth, masses of the youth, they are unemployed. Uh, then the fake news is one of such issues which needs our attention. Misinformation, hate speeches, and false propaganda on social media are dividing our society. Basic sanitation needs to be improved. Healthcare system has also to be taken care of. Friends, I'm really happy to observe that this 10 days long video conference has been very successfully organized by Dr. Ambrish Saxena and Sushmita Bala. They deserve again my compliments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your wise words. Now I request Mr. Aman Sahni, Vice Chairman, DME, to address the session.
Hello, good evening. First, I must congratulate my team at the DME Media School for this Herculean effort. It's really important, I believe, for all of us to aim higher and try to bite off a little bit more than we can chew. And whatever has been accomplished in the past, to take that in our stride and move ahead with a lot of passion, with a lot of enthusiasm, and have this ambition with us, to carry this ambition with us at all times. And this ambition, this attitude has to be there as a part of our work culture, as a part of our very being, not just for the faculty over here, but also for our students. And it is events like this one that give us that opportunity to exhibit, to acquire such attitude, such resilience, such an ambition. So apart from being academic, I think these are really important features of our education, of our setup at DME, an opportunity for all of us to do better, to learn and to grow. And I could see a lot of that even today. I thought that the session today, the valedictory session, was better than the inaugural session. That was the first time we were doing this. 10 days later, I can already see that everyone's more used to this form of communication, of deliberation. And so when we make that effort, good things follow, good results will follow. And a lot of it is just about for us to make that effort, to have that ambition, to have that resolve, and to make things happen. So, so congratulations to everyone, to all of us, for taking up this challenge and making this happen. My compliments to Dr. Saxena and Dr. Bala for steering this. And Professor Asad just spoke about change, and indeed there is a lot of change coming right now, happening right now. To quote Bob Dylan, the times are changing, and in times of change, we also need to change our approach, and that is what we need to do right now. It wasn't really my plan to speak on this, but then since we've sort of spoken about this now, we've hinted at this. Um, a lot of things will change, I think, in the coming semester. A lot of students are here, so I think it would be good for me to just highlight this for a couple of minutes. What we're planning is that the change should not only be in terms of something that we are forced to do, but something that we want to do, which is give students an opportunity to do more by themselves, to learn more on their own, and for us to be there to help them where they need help, but for it to move from a more teacher-centric, faculty-centric approach to a student-centric approach, where the students are doing things, they're writing assignments, they're creating documentaries, faculty is there to help them. A lot of material is provided to students, resource material, videos. So that is something that we are working on right now. We are thinking of dividing students into smaller batches, so a lot of tutorials can be arranged for them, where students have already seen a video lecture on every particular topic before they come to the tutorial, and in the tutorial, which is of smaller batches of at least of at the most 30 students, maybe even lesser. So we have an opportunity for students to have already seen the lecture, which is pre-recorded, to have had access to a lot of material, a lot of resources on that particular topic, to come and discuss that topic at length in those tutorials, where the role of the faculty is to moderate, to give direction to the discussion, but it's mostly the students who are already having knowledge of that topic, of them forming an opinion on things and discussing it and having the confidence and the ability to discuss things and debate issues, which is really what academic inquiry is all about. So I think we would like to take this opportunity in the coming times and work on this, where we give our students maximum opportunity to develop independent thought, to develop the spirit of inquiry, and to really learn in the real sense and not just mug up things as might have been the case across the education system in India in the past. So we'll be working continuously. That's our job, to give the best education possible to all of our students. So we'll be working continuously in order to ensure that we're able to do that, and our students always have an edge, always have an advantage to do better once they graduate. So so that was something that I just wanted to share, because we are talking of change. But again, coming back to this conference, we've done really well. I think this has been a great success, and our partner institutes have always supported us in all of our endeavors. So my thanks to them, my best wishes to them, and Professor Chowdhury and Dr. Vikrant, Kishore made some excellent points, and we look forward to taking those suggestions ahead and working on them. And a final word on the very theme of this conference, which is the community, which is our immediate surroundings. They say charity begins at home. So I would just like to simply urge all of our students, everyone who's involved in this, to engage a bit more with our community, to help where we can, to voice opinions where they matter, and help people in need whenever and wherever we can. My best wishes to everybody associated. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for encouraging us. Now I invite Ms. Manmeet Kaur, Assistant Professor, DME Media School, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Aditi. And the finale has come. We have successfully completed 10 days of ICAN 3 #Conference for Change, world's first 10 days live international media conference. Extending vote of thanks doesn't mean we are saying goodbye to you. Instead, we are parting to meet again with great zeal and more energy. Academic discussions and deliberations fulfill the desires of the fraternity to get a closed overview of different perspectives. Being here with you today is the outcome of very intensive and emotional journey. I, Manmeet Kaur, Assistant Professor, DME Media School, take this opportunity to extend my vote of thanks to every person who has been associated with us throughout this journey. A unique blend of discussions and presentations has been created here, allowing expert aspirants, researchers, and scholars to interact with each other to get the insights of the research dialogues existing in various parts of the world. ICAN 3 has become more graceful with the presence of our esteemed guests, both at the inaugural function and the valedictory function. I am really very happy that DME is floating with exuberance and grateful that eminent personalities and experts have accepted our invitation and obliged us. We are privileged to have our guest of eminence, Dr. Nakul Parashar, Director, Vigyan, Prasar, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. We thank you, sir, for gracing the function. It is our honor that Vigyan Prasar has always supported DME to hold various discussions for the betterment of students as a learning platform. I am highly pleased to pay respect to our associate partner, Deakin University, Melbourne, Australia. On behalf of DME Media School at Delhi Metropolitan Education, I would like to thank Dr. Vikrant Kishore, Course Director, Film, Television and Animation, School of Communications and Creative Arts, Faculty of Arts and Education at Deakin University, Melbourne, Australia, as our special guest of the day. We are hopeful that our alliance will continue to be healthy and fruitful. Moving further, I also express my gratitude to Professor Ujjwal K. Chowdhury, Pro Vice Chancellor and Dean, School of Media, Communication and Fashion, Adamas University, Kolkata, West Bengal, as the special guest of the valedictory function. It is our honor that Adamas University is our knowledge partner for ICAN 3, hashtag Conference for Change. We are delighted to be allied with Adamas University and hopeful that this association will be more productive and knowledge-oriented for the future. Permit me to express my gratitude to Professor Dr. Kiran Bala, Dean, School of Journalism and Mass Communication, Mangalam University, Gurugram, Haryana, as the special guest of the function. Mangalam University is our knowledge partner, and it is our honor that during the inaugural function, Vice Chancellor of Mangalam University, Professor Aditya Malik, has joined us and graced the function. Kiran ma'am, we hope that our synergetic relation continues to foster in the future as well. I would like to mention my admiration to Mr. Mohan Shukla, Chairman of Public Relations Society of India, Delhi chapter, as the special guest of the function. Due to prior commitments, he was unable to join us today. Public Relations Society of India, Delhi chapter is our knowledge partner, and I truly appreciate the continuous efforts and generous support. My sincere gratitude to Mr. Akram Haq, founder editor, The Policy Times, New Delhi, who has agreed and obliged us to be the part of both inaugural and valedictory function. The Policy Times is our media partner, and we sincerely thankful for their continuous support and timely media coverage for 10 days of all the sessions in ICAN 3. Thank you, sir. My warm gratitude to Dr. Joya Chakraborty, Head Department of Mass Communication and Journalism, Tejpur University, Assam, as the special guest of the session. She has graced the function with her gracious presence. We thank you, ma'am, for being a part of this valedictory function at ICAN 3, hashtag Conference for Change. Moving further, my special thanks to Dr. Asad Nizam, Deputy Director, Electronic Media Production Center, IGNO, as a special guest of the function. He is the most distinguished participant of ICAN 3, hashtag Conference for Change, who has attended all the sessions on all the days of the conference. Thank you, sir. My honest thanks to internal dignitaries of DME, Mr. Vipin Sahni, Chairman, Ms. Kiran Sahni, Chairperson, Mr. Aman Sahni, Vice Chairman, Honorable Justice Bhavar Singh, Director General, and Professor Dr. Ravi, Director at DME. Their trust, confidence, and their blessings have persuaded us to put our best efforts to organize this 10 days live digital international media conference ICAN 3. Thank you, everyone. My vote of thanks would be incomplete without saying thank you to Professor Dr. Amrish Saxena, Dean DME Media School and Director Studios and Production at DME, and also the Organizing Secretary of ICAN 3. My heartiest thanks to Professor Dr. Susmita Bala ma'am, Head DME Media School and Convener ICAN 3, who has always put all the painstaking efforts to provide constant support for the 10 days live digital media conference. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to the creative and digital operations team, Mr. Ritik Ghosh, Mr. Sumantra Sarthi Das, Ms. Kritika Sati, Ms. Deepika Dhawan, Mr. Sachin Nair for their hard work and meticulous efforts to create creative, joining links for the Zoom platforms and going live on our ICAN Facebook page. Special thanks to Mr. Anmol Mehta for providing beautiful creatives for the conference. Requesting all the participants to visit our web pages of ICAN, YouTube channel DME TV and Facebook pages of ICAN for all the updates, playlists and information related to the conference. Moving further, I would like to express my appreciation to the co-conveners and the organizing committee of the International Media Conference ICAN 3, Mr. Pramod Kumar Pandey, Mr. Kamil, Ms. Krishna Pandey, Mr. Mohit Kishore Vats, Ms. Sanchita Chakraborty, Ms. Kritika Sati, Ms. Deepika Dhawan, Ms. Yashasvika Yadav, Ms. Sukriti Arora, Ms. Tinam Bora, and Mr. Sachin Nair. Students are the soul of any institute, and so as are students. Special thanks to students who have patiently attended and listened to all the sessions of the conference. Appreciation to student coordinators of different sessions during 10 days of ICAN 3, and heartfelt thank you to Ms. Aditi Verma and Ms. Shinjini for moderation of valedictory function. Ms. Shinjini, due to some technical reasons, she couldn't join the valedictory function, but both girls had worked very hard. Thank you all. With this, I say thank you to everyone to listen to me patiently and being the part of valedictory ceremony. We are shortly starting our cultural program. Stay tuned. But before that, don't forget to like our social media pages at Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Follow our YouTube channel DME TV for all the updates and playlist of ICAN 3 and other programs being organized by Delhi Metropolitan Education. The books of ICAN 3 are available on Amazon and the link has been shared in the chat box. Subscribe our newsletter for latest reports about DME Media School. With this, I thank you once again to everyone being the part of this valedictory function. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you once again.